He gets on the second team in practice. And we lose!
That fueled, fired me. It became personal with me.
Michael Jordan, the name alone carries a level of prestige in a world of basketball that few can match. 6 NBA championships, 5 MVPs, 10 scoring titles, a career so dominant that even after retiring twice, his impact on the game remains untouched. But what if I told you that at 52 years old, Jordan still believed he could take on his own Charlotte Hornets players and win? In fact, he didn't just believe it, he proved it in practice. In 2015, when Jordan was still the majority owner of the Charlotte Hornets, he made a statement that was equal parts ridiculous and completely on brand for him. When asked if he could take his own players one-on-one, MJ responded with a level of confidence only he could pull off.
Could you win on one-on-ones against them? Or?
I'm pretty sure I can, so I don't want to do that and demolish their confidence, so I stay away from them. I let them think they're good. They think that they are good, but I'm too old to do that anyway.
The comment was vintage Jordan, playful but laced with that competitive arrogance that made him the greatest. But let's be real, this wasn't the 1990s, this was 2015, and Jordan was 52 years old. The idea that he could still take on active NBA players sounds crazy, but then reports started coming out, confirming that he actually did. One of the players who saw it all happen was Bismack Biyombo, a former Hornets center. And he didn't just hear about MJ's claim, he watched it happen right in front of his own eyes. According to Biyombo, Jordan actually laced up his sneakers in practice and started challenging the younger Hornets players one-on-one. And the result, you might ask? Well, let Bismack Biyombo explain in his own words. He said he would come into practice and just play one-on-one with players and just kill them. 100%. I didn't think he could move like that. Now let's stop and think about this for a second. This was a 50-year-old man, years removed from professional basketball, cooking NBA players in their 20s. And this wasn't just a one-time fluke. Multiple stories confirm similar things about Michael Jordan attending practices.
Talking about all his accolades, take my shoes off, because he had gave me his, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't just talking to me, he was talking because everybody had his shoes off, but he had gave me a deal and all that.
Yeah.
This shit kind of directed to me and Gerald Wallace, because we the leaders of the team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he going off.
Mike told you to take his fucking shoes off.
Damn near, you know what I'm saying?
Mike suited up.
Dog, whatever he had on, he came out there, pushed, I guess, the guard, whoever Gerald Wallace was guard, the 3 guard, kicked him out and got in that spot and played with the second team. Our second team wasn't scrubs now. Oh, he scored a couple points, and to the point where he talked so much shit afterwards, he grabbed the ball and went dunk one on the way out.
Like that, we weren't playing to our potential at all, like literally, really bad. And Mike came in and we sat down and we get ready for film, and then he came in. I'm like, oh Lord, like we really in trouble now. Like I thought we was gonna just hear it from Cliff, and Michael comes in and has a basic conversation with us. And, the conversation was like, you MFers ain't earning your salary. You know what I mean? Like you got to be able to go out there and perform every night, night in, night out. I don't want to hear no excuses.
But you're still just in awe, like, man, this is Michael Jordan. I'm guarding Michael Jordan in practice right now, and he could still play with us, obviously, and still wasn't good enough shape, but he'd get after it, man. I mean, you want to talk about a competitor. Even and I think about that now, just jumping into like an NBA practice, like that's hard to do.
So how does a 50-year-old former player dominate active NBA players? Let's break it down. First, it's obviously his footwork. Jordan's mid-range game was an art form. His fadeaway jumper was one of the most unguardable moves in NBA history. That type of elite skill doesn't just disappear with age. Second, it would be down to his mentality. This is the same guy who punched Steve Kerr in practice. The same guy who created feuds in his own head just to fuel his own fire. The idea of losing even in his 50s was just not something he was willing to accept. And third, let's be honest, the Hornets weren't that good. Let's not ignore the elephant in the room. If a 52-year-old former player can walk into practice and dominate active NBA players, well, that's a problem, and it's actually a big problem. In 2015, well, the Hornets were, let's be honest, a below-average team to say the least. They finished the season 33-49, missing the playoffs completely. Their best player was Kemba Walker, who was good but not great in the grand scheme of things and had a couple all-star seasons, but let's be honest, he wasn't a world beater. The rest of the roster, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, Cody Zeller, Gerald Henderson, not exactly a lineup that was striking fear into opponents. If Jordan could still beat them, what does that really say? Well, here's the reality. As a player, Jordan was the greatest competitor of all time. But as an owner, that success did not carry over, and perhaps he needed to take some revenge back in practice. From 2010 to 2023, under Jordan's ownership, the Hornets were one of the worst run franchises in the NBA. In 13 years, they made the playoffs just 3 times and never got past the first round. His draft picks, questionable at best. Adam Morrison, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, Frank Kaminsky, none of them became superstars or none of them actually stayed in the league very long. And while Jordan could still dominate his players in practice, his team wasn't winning when it mattered. Michael Jordan is still Michael Jordan. His confidence, his mentality, his skill set, even at 52 years old, he was still better than some of his own NBA players. And that alone is actually insane. But let's be real, this wasn't the Jordan of the 90s. By the time he played for the Washington Wizards, he was a shell of himself. He still had flashes of brilliance, of course. Hell, he dropped 51 points on the Hornets at age 38, but he wasn't the same, not even remotely. And as an owner, let's just say his competitive greatness didn't translate to the front office. So while these stories of MJ beating his own players in practice are fun, they also raise a serious question. Was this a testament to Jordan's greatness, or just an indictment of how bad the Hornets actually were? Either way, the community thinks it's just another chapter in the legendary story of Michael Jordan, a man who even at 52 refused to let go of his competitive fire. Now, if you enjoyed this deep dive into MJ's legendary mindset, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more NBA history and analysis, and let me know in the comments who is the most competitive player in today's NBA. My name is Damian Peters, this is Basketball Network. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.